On today's episode of the Luke Loses podcast, anxiety sucks. I talk about the anxiety, stress, and a little bit of the depression that I've been dealing with lately, and what are some things that I do that tend to help me get through it. I hope you enjoy it. What's up, losers? I am Luke, and this is Luke Loses. This is a podcast where being a loser is a good thing because we're losing the weight, we're losing the unhealthy lifestyle, and we're losing that negative image we have for ourselves. Please remember that I have no fitness or nutrition education. Everything I talk about here is from asking questions, searching the internet, and my own personal experiences. Please go over to my website. It is www.lukelosespodcast.com. That's got my social media links as well as other places where you can listen to this podcast. You can also send me a message directly off the website. Or you can call the loser line, and that is 323-920-LUKE or 5853. Call that number, send it a text, or send me a message on my website. Send me whatever's on your mind, topic ideas, tips, concerns, whatever it is, and I will try to address it on a future episode. Now, this part I tried to record over and over, and I can't make it not sound like one of the TV shows from the afternoon when I was a kid. But if you or somebody you know would be a good guest for the podcast, reach out to me or have them reach out to me. I would love to talk to you guys about possibly doing an interview. So let's just go ahead and jump right into today's episode. Thank you for tuning in to the Luke Loses podcast. If you are new, welcome. If you are not new, welcome back. If you have not checked out my previous episode, it's called It's Okay to Just Be Okay. I enjoyed doing it. There was some good stuff in there, I thought. So if you haven't listened to it, go back and check that one out. As for today's episode, anxiety sucks. I had a couple other ideas for today's episode, and actually it is 10:31 p.m. Sunday night. I'm going to record this, do a little bit of editing, and release it tomorrow. So I'm running behind. Now, like I said, I had other topics that I wanted to touch on today, but with my anxiety and stress and all that being so crazy lately, I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to just speak on it because it's eating me up. I'm going to go... And I'm just going to say this right now. If you are obese, if you are my size, if you are smaller than me, if you are bigger than me, if whatever, I don't think negative about anybody. All the thoughts and the views that I have are on me and how I feel. And I want to mention that this isn't an episode so I get people to message me and check in on me. This isn't an episode about poor Luke. I'm not going to harm myself or anything, but I'm going to talk about my depression. I'm going to talk about my anxiety and some of the things that I do that help me and where I'm at right now. Jumping into it, I even told my therapist on Thursday how I was on a high. Everything was going good. And then it came crashing down. My anxiety level was high. My depression was horrible. And it even affected my relationship with my wife. Big time. Where I get in my head and I'm like, why is she with me? She doesn't really love me. How could she love me? And then it would start arguments or paranoia and just make things worse. But before all that, I ordered a shirt off a website supporting a cause. It was actually... There was a documentary I watched about bullying and kids, and it's I Stand for the Silent t-shirts. I wanted to get one for my wife and I. And I got it, and they only had 3X, and I'm in a 3X on a good day, 4X comfortable, and it was kind of small. Like, when I say kind of, it was really small. It was like probably a 2X of the stuff that I wear. It was uncomfortable. I was really upset with myself because of that. And I knew it was snug. I knew it was small. My wife's was even running a little bit small. It just bothered me. Fast forward a day, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV with the family, and I felt really bloated and big and miserable. And a spiral of negative thoughts. And I was like, I feel like I'm bigger than I was 60 pounds ago. I feel disgusting with myself. I hate myself right now. And I know that's a big thing, self-love, and I hear that a lot. I need to learn to love myself, but it's really hard. I'm not happy with how I am. So I am on medication. I am on a anxiety pill. I am on blood pressure and another one for, I can't remember what it's called, but you're supposed to take those on a schedule regularly. And if you don't, things can happen. And I forget days. That doesn't help with my anxiety. I also have recently started intermittent fasting, and I've been going 20 hours fasting, 4 hours of eating. About 16 hours in, I start to get an attitude. It's that hangry feeling. It's just making things worse. I'm not sure where I'm at. I'm not sure where to go. And today, for those that are in Michigan, they probably know of it, but I took my family to Michigan Adventures. It is 2 parks for the price of 1. So it's a water park and a theme park. And things were going good. And I couldn't eat until about 5 p.m. That was when my fasting was up. Things were going good. I was all right. I was around people, and my anxiety wasn't ridiculous like it normally is. But about 4 o'clock, my wife and my oldest wanted to ride a ride. They got in line, and it was horrible. It was like an hour and 15 minutes before they were done. That got me really anxious. That got me really upset that it took so long. And there was nothing we could do about it. It was just, that's how it is, a line of people. But it got me worked up. Now, also, I was about to be my eating time, so the hangry came out. I also didn't take my shirt off in the water park. So I thought to myself, I wanted to do it. I was ready to do it. But I couldn't bring myself to take my shirt off in public. So that started to eat at me a little bit. Earlier in the day, my wife mentioned about getting the passes that get us to the front of the line, which we probably should have. But she was asking how many should she buy. And I was like, well, don't buy one for me because I can't fit on those rides. And then we get there and she's like, you could probably fit on those. I didn't want to go through the humiliation of getting on the ride or going in the line for an hour. And then to get there for them to be like, oh, you don't fit. So that made me anxious. And then we walked past, they had a paddle boat area where there's swans, and my youngest really wanted to go on those. But the weight capacity was 300 pounds per person, and it was a 2-seater. I'm over that, so I couldn't take him on that. So that was upsetting. Man, while I'm recording this, I'm thinking, I sound like I'm super poor me. And that's not what I'm trying to do. But I started this podcast as an audio journal. and this is an entry. But I didn't get on any roller coasters. I got on a ride, and I get in the seat, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to fit. And it's a log ride. It's like a bench seat with a bar that comes down, and then you go up and then down and hit the water, and big splash comes up. And like I get in there, I'm like, oh yeah, I could fit. And then I get there, and I'm like, I don't know. The lady comes to me and says, can you pull that bar down? And I pulled it down. And she's like, now push it forward, and it locked. So she's like, you're good. I was like, awesome. So then we go up the climb. We make the turn. I'm with my youngest and my middle, and I look to my middle and I say, are you okay? And he says, yep. And then we start to go down really fast. The bar comes up. I have to grab the bar and pull it towards us, and I'm holding it. And my first thought wasn't safety. My first thought was, I hope nobody sees this. Like, my God. Well, we get done with that ride. We get off. The kids are enjoying it. They didn't realize it. It's not a dangerous ride. So I guess safety wasn't a thought because of that, but I don't know. We get off the ride. We go over to the ride that my wife and my oldest were on, and I see a sign that says, may not accommodate our larger guest. And I was like, man, ouch. I don't know. I was able to breathe a little bit. I did some tapping to help calm me down. And the night ended up to be a pretty good day. I got a little pissy. My wife kind of barked at me, put me in check. It ended up to be pretty good. Really good, actually. Talk about the tapping and the breathing and stuff. And I wanted to talk to you guys about what I do, what my therapist has told me to do, and different things. So before we went in, I talked to my kids and told them there's going to be a lot of people, and I explained safety. And I stressed it a lot that they have to listen to us. Like, I know it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be exciting, but we need to listen. And that's one thing that really helps me is before I do things that are high stress for me, grocery shopping, that's a big one. When I take my 3 boys into the grocery store, they get bored. They're not being bad. My kids are really good. But it stresses me out when they're touching things or, goofing off. Just being kids. That makes my stress level go up more and more. And talking to them before going in, explaining to them the situation and what we expect from them really helps because they're aware that this is a fun time. We're here to have fun, but there are still rules. We still need to listen, so on and so forth. So that's one thing my therapist has talked to me about. So that actually falls in the being prepared. Before I go into these high stress situations, I kind of prepare myself, think about this or that, so on and so forth. Another thing that I do is I have a breathing technique where I breathe in for 4 seconds, I breathe out for 4 seconds. In through my nose, out through my mouth. I do that a couple times, and that usually calms me down. When things are starting to get too stressful, this is one I was on Clubhouse. It's an app, like a chat room for whatever you want to. So, like, the best way to explain Clubhouse is like mini seminars for whatever you want to learn about. I seen one that was like anxiety tapping, so I clicked on it. So tapping is like a soothing thing, and like above your eyebrow, below your chin, underneath your nose, your temple, your wrist. You just tap, right? I can post a link to it in the description if it's something that you want to look into. But it really does kind of ground me and soothe me. The breathing and the tapping doesn't always work when I'm starting to like go high into a stress. But if I can catch it before it gets bad, works every time. Calms me down. snaps me back into reality, and things are good. So those are just some tips. I went into this whole spiel about me being anxious, depressed. I didn't even touch depression and all that. I wanted to talk about that stuff because that's how I'm feeling. And right now, in this moment, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better. Tomorrow could be bad again. I don't know. That's just the way it goes. But as of right now, I'm positive. I am tired. I'm exhausted from the day. And I'm full because I ate. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to end it on that. And I'll touch back. Tapping, breathing techniques. Be prepared for the situation. They can help you in this high anxiety, high stress environment. If you can hear some noises in the background, by the way, this is my paranoia and I hope I'm not disappointing somebody, but if you can hear some noise in the background, I have a cat that is playing with something right now, and I can hear it. I don't know if you guys will be able to, but I apologize. So that is that. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it. I would appreciate it so much. Share it with somebody you know that has a lot of stress and anxiety that this may help them. I don't know. Like I said, it is a journal entry. This episode is more of a rant and a episode for me. Hopefully somebody can take something away from it. Also, go to www.lukelosespodcast.com. Check out my social media that's on there. Other places you can listen to this podcast, or you can listen to it directly off of the website. You can also send me a message directly off of the website, or you can call the loser line, and that is 323-920-LUKE or 5853. Call that number, send it a text, send me a message on the website with topic ideas, tips, concerns, whatever's on your mind. I will try to address it on a future episode. Don't forget to check out Jake Simmons and the Little Ghosts. Those are who you're hearing right now. If you like this song, you will like the rest of their music. I will leave all their links in the description of this episode. So, as always, stay positive, do the work, trust the process, and I will see you next week.